I had CCA camp and then we were playing Running Man. There was a room that had rumors about it, but we paid no attention to it. It was locked during that period. When my friend was running past that room with her group, she heard piano noises coming from in there. It was playing the Pink Panther tune. It was the same song that a CCA mate always played on it. But when they knocked on the door, it suddenly stopped. They called to make sure he wasn't inside, and he wasn't. No one even had access to it. Something was inside, playing the piano. We told the teachers about it and they told us to ignore whatever it is and focus on our studies. And so we did. But after 2 months in the same school, a girl named Nora came in our class. She was quiet and shy. She used to sit with me in the class. I thought she would be kinda rude, but when she speak to me, I felt she is the nicest in the class. At that age, I didn't have a phone, so we just used to meet in school or if she visit my house or I visit her house. Slowly we became friends, but I just knew few things about her, since she never wanted to talk about herself, which I found quite weird. Whenever I ask her a question, she'd just laugh and ask me the same question, and when I reply to it, she keep asking more questions about it. Maybe she was scared that I would ask her a question. So I tried not to ask her more questions. If she would ask questions, it would be like, do you like graveyard or have you ever went to graveyards? Which I found was too strange. One day I went to her house with her after the school finside because she told me she have a cute little kitten as a pet, but her mom doesn't want it to be in the house. So she will leave it outside free, and I love kittens so much. So I thought to visit her house and take that kitten so I can pet it. It was more cute than I thought. I take that from her, thanked her and went to my house, and what I later noticed that in her house there was no one else other than Nora. And before she told me that she lived with her parents, and a brother who is 9 years old. I ignored it and didn't think about it much since I had this cute little kitten on my house. I named her Bella and I still have her with me. Coming back to the story, it was a usual day. I came to school early, sit and do my homework, since I don't do it at home. Slowly all the students, teacher came and class started. It was a very boring day for me because Nora was absent, who I talked to. Days passed, but I don't know why Nora didn't came to school. Even my classmates used to ask me if I know, but I would just say no, because even I didn't knew what was going on. So one day I thought to visit her house to check on her or if she's okay. I got out and straight head to her house. As much as I remember, her house was white and the gate was blue, but when I walked in that street, there was no house like that. My jaw dropped. I got tensed and confused. Even the place where her house was, it was empty. In that street there was only 2 big houses which was not hers. I couldn't understand what was happening. How can she just vanish in some days? Where did the house go? I didn't move forward. I didn't want to imagine it all, so I ran back to my house. That night I had nightmares of her being a ghost. The next day I told my class about it, and no one trusted me, not even my mother when I told her. Only I know that I wasn't lying, that her house just disappeared from that place and it was actually there. This was in primary school. Rumor was that a girl was found dead near a toilet. I was with my friends in that same toilet, washing our hands, tying our hair, looking at the mirror and all that. Suddenly, we all saw a reflection of a girl in the mirror who looked upset, like she was crying. She then briskly walked into the cubicle and shut the door. All my friends ran away and left me. Stupid me went to look under the door and there was no one. I ran out super fast. My friends said that she was floating, not walking, which is why they ran. So we believed it was that girl who died near that toilet. And also the school is no longer there. I'm not a teacher myself, but my best friend works as a teaching assistant in a small primary school. She used to tell me about a little boy who would constantly give death stares to teachers and would generally refuse to interact with other children. My friend absolutely loves kids, but even she admitted she had never seen a child look so angry all of the time, like he hated the world, even though he was so young. He would face the wall during class time and repeatedly bash his head against the wall until staff intervened. He started biting a lot of the children and was told off for doing so in the dining hall one day. He then jabbed the dinner lady in the arm with his fork so hard that it drew blood. In my friend's classroom, they had a small incubator with little chicks that the children would help to look after and watch as they grew up. At one point, he was left unattended and managed to squeeze one of the poor chicks to death. I don't know whatever happened with him because my friend got a job at another school, but the story has always stuck in my mind. The way she described him genuinely gave me chills. My school's library is open until around 2 in the morning for the idiots like me who don't do their essays until the last minute. It's a pretty small building, and most of the books are in the basement area called the stacks. Just to give you a quick layout, there's the big main stairs that go down to the stacks, a vending machine room, and the long hallway with 4 entrances into the stacks. The stacks are 2 really big rooms on opposite sides of the hallway with a huge amount of bookshelves and study desks lining the walls. I was there around 11 last year. It was a pretty research-intensive essay, so I was down in the stacks working in one of the study desks, so I didn't have to keep going upstairs and downstairs again. I had been there for maybe 2 hours, and everyone except for a boy working a few desks down from me had left already. I was pretty zoned out by this point. It was an AM class, so I didn't have much time until it was due, and I was sort of panicking. So it really pissed me off when I heard someone flipping through book pages really fast to make them do that loud whir noise at the other end of the room. I sort of ignored it for a while, thinking they'd go away eventually, but they just kept doing it. After about 5 minutes, I got sick of it and started to walk over to tell them to knock it off. I get about 3 steps across the room, and it just stopped. I sat back down, and it was quiet again for like 10 more minutes before the flipping pages noise started again, only loads louder, like they'd grabbed a huge book that time. The boy started to get pissed off too, and he stood up and started walking through the bookshelves trying to find them. It keeps going, so I got up too, and started looking around with him. It got really loud, and it was pretty obvious where it was coming from by that point, so we started walking towards it. He was on one side of the shelves, and I was on the other. We walked all the way down the shelves, no one there. We hadn't seen anyone come in the stacks, and we were on the side of the room with the entrances. No way could anyone have come in without us seeing them. The noise stopped again, and we both just sort of slowly walked back to our seats. I assumed it was just a fan or something in the other room, and I really needed to get my essay done. We sat down, and immediately the noise started again. It sounded like it was coming from right next to the guy's chair. He shoved his stuff in his bag, looked at me, said, "Fuck this," and took off. I was out of there maybe 5 seconds behind him. I still won't go back in the stacks at night, even when there's other people down there. No essay's worth getting murdered by a weird book ghost. My school was an old school. The school auditorium was housed in a 4-story building, but we only ever went to the first 2 floors. Rumor has it that the 4th floor had past principals' portraits and someone had witnessed a portrait crying before. And one of the bathrooms on that level had a spigot that had blood flowing out. Sometimes people would hear piano sounds when there was no one there. The whole building just gave people a creepy feeling because of its age and all these stories. The school itself was some cemetery for soldiers. Story goes that a student was playing hide and seek with classmates after school. She decided to hide in the massive closet in her classroom, and her playmates had a hard time finding her and figured that maybe she already went home instead. After the weekend, a janitor was doing his rounds when he noticed a weird smell. Checking each classroom, he didn't find anything odd until he came to the room where she hid. Assuming that one of the kids forgot their lunchbox in the closet, he unlocked it and was shocked to see her dead body. Weird thing was her hair had gone long and gray, her nails grew long too, and her skin was really wrinkled like an old lady's. After the incident, the nuns have decided to have the classroom locked up, never to be used again.